Welcome to a special edition of the Gerety Talks, as we talk to the winners of the Agency and Production Company of the Year by country winners. The Gerety Awards brings together some of the greatest creative leaders each year to look at work from a powerful perspective. The executive jury sessions that take place around the world each choose the Agency and Production Company of the Year from their country within the portfolio cut. This cut allows you to enter a single reel that includes 3 pieces of work from the past year. In 2024, Gerety Awards held a jury session in the US, and the Agency of the Year was awarded to Dentsu Creative. So today we welcome Julie Celso, Chief Creative Officer, Chicago and Global Accounts, Bridget Jewell, Executive Creative Director, and Lara Herzer, Executive Creative Director, to talk about these campaigns. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. So first of all, congratulations on your award. What does this recognition from the Gerety jury mean to you and the agency?
I think I'll take that one. On a personal note, being a female creative for over 25 years, which is scary to say, but over 25 years, I am just so glad that an award show like this exists. Obviously, you're looking 2 amazing female leaders here. I think Dentsu really prides itself on inclusivity, but also really female empowerment. You'll if you look across our creative department, it is very female focused and heavy, and we're really it's really a commitment because there's a lot of us who have grown up in this industry and see a real opportunity to sort of reach back down and pull others up. So from a personal note, I'm just, it's just thrilling to be part of this and to have this kind of acknowledgement, just because for so many years, I feel like this is something that was needed in the industry. And now it's finally, really solidified itself as a premier award show. So that's more of a personal thing. From a company note, though, I think it's a real acknowledgement of our commitment to creative excellence. And we've sort of started on this idea of transformative creativity and have organized the agency in a way that can really dig deep to solve business problems for our clients that is really agnostic on any particular skill set, because you're looking at 3 different people here who really have 3 completely different expertise, and we work together on a daily basis. So I think having being awarded Agency of the Year just shows that what we're doing is working, and people are recognizing our commitment to creative excellence and how we're solving creative problems and making sure that creativity is a multiplier for our business and is something that we are deeply committed to as an agency.
Great. So yeah, let's watch the reel first with the campaigns, and then we can talk about them.
Our global food supply is facing unprecedented challenges. The growing climate crisis is impacting agricultural yields. While 1.3 billion tons of fresh food is going from farms to landfills, and as populations grow, the pressure mounts on farmers. But the story of this magnificent little tomato plant shows it can all change for better. Growing in the heart of an AI-powered farm, every moment in the life of this tomato plant is monitored and managed by over 2,000 cameras and sensors, with AI accelerated by Intel Xeon, tracking everything from climate to shipping. To reveal the power of this little tomato, each day the Organic Intelligence Platform transforms over 60 gigabytes of live data into visible, tangible information, showing optimizations across the entire food supply chain, driven by Intel's AI-powered solutions. So as this delicate plant grows, we can show how these solutions are helping reduce water, improve crop yields, and increasing speed to shelf, ensuring peak freshness through the power of predictability. Tracking this precious fruit grow in real time has helped reduce inefficiencies, allowing crops to be sold a year in advance, ensuring every tomato is as fresh and delicious as it is sustainable for our world. Through this digital transformation, Intel is offering a blueprint for industries everywhere, But the true beauty of this story is how one little tomato can wield a mighty influence over our entire planet.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other. I was lost and lonely. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life.
I don't know what triggered me that
The
night.
process is so quick. You're not thinking rationally.
I just grabbed the gun and pulled the trigger.
I got up against the wall. I was in the fetal position by the door with the gun to my head. So after all the stories, it's actually got a lock safe in it.
Today I still have several firearms. We keep
Not
them locked up.
contemplated suicide.
Store your guns
It's
securely.
broken.
Go on. I used to keep it on the process, so I just
I
want
need
to
to
that
know
you're not
fully
taking
loaded on
a
my
second
cup.
chance.
I do not currently own a gun safe, but after listening to Tom's story, that's something I will probably leave here with.
We know from a lot of research, suicide is not inevitable. It's really about just making sure someone in that dark moment can't reach for a gun.
So the first campaign is Intel Nature Fresh Farms Organic Intelligence. Please tell us about how the idea for this campaign came to life.
Sure. Well, we were charged with helping Intel tell the story about how they are bringing digital transformation to a number of industries. And it's challenging. You know, you're talking about microprocessors and AI. It can get a little dry, it can get very abstract and intangible. How do you tell a sexy supply chain story? That was really our challenge. But we love a challenge. So that led us to the agriculture industry and Intel's partnership with this AI-powered farm called Nature Fresh Farms. Part of the things that drew us to this particular story, you know, I think food is inherently emotional, particularly when you're talking about food waste. You're starting to elevate it beyond just this is a business problem to this is a problem for all of society, something we need to really help solve. And then the farms themselves are just visually stunning. The trees, the plants grow vertically 75 feet tall. And there are, you know, these very high-powered technological greenhouses for acres and acres and acres. So we were really excited to kind of get our arms around that. And so then the challenge became, how do we really take all of the technology that's happening within this massive operation and make it real and tangible for like a business and technology audience? So that inspired us to build a digital experience that's powered by live data harvested from the farm. So you kind of feel like you're there, and it makes it tangible, makes it real, and we were able to kind of demonstrate in real time the difference that this Intel technology was able to make on something like strawberries and tomatoes being grown in Canada in the middle of winter.
And what were the biggest challenges that you had?
Probably translating that raw data. And there's, I mean, a tremendous amount of data that's being just happening across the farm every single day, and it's made for farmers. So how do we take that and translate it into a way that's going to really resonate for like a business and a technology audience? So what we ended up doing was we created a benchmark against traditional farming for the first time outside of academic settings. And it sounds kind of heady, but once you kind of see it on the site, I think it all makes sense, hopefully, and will inspire some people to transform their own industries, whatever that is. So.
Okay. And there's another campaign, which is the 7-Eleven, Always Open. Please tell us about how you came up with the idea for this campaign. Bridget?
Yeah, this is a really fun and exciting one. And the way that I like to talk about this is that the work that we've done with 7-Eleven in our partnership for the past probably about 5 years is really what led and cemented this moment and allowed it to happen. Because this is one of those reactive moments that you can't plan for, but you have to be prepared for. So this campaign with Jamar Chase actually happened when he was feeling really frustrated. He'd been in a bunch of games where he was consistently open in American football, ready for passes and touchdowns, but wasn't getting the ball from the quarterback. And so he was on a press conference and he took to Twitter or X and he said, I'm 7-Eleven, which is his way of saying I'm always open, just like 7-Eleven is their operating hours. They're open 24/7. So when we saw that in real time on a Sunday, everybody got really excited and started talking about what can we do with this? This is a really big cultural moment for the brand. And it's just a really exciting thing to be a part of. And the best part about it is that the clients saw it at the same time and everybody was already wheels turning. What can we do? What can we do? So we ended up with a celebration of Jamar Chase and 7-Eleven's shared commitment to being always open. It was a clothing line, game day activation, and a social campaign that we executed in 48 hours.
Oh, okay. Wow, 48 hours. And
yeah.
In soccer, to be always open is that you're ready to get the ball. I'm more of a football person. I come from Argentina, so
it translates. That's the best part about it, right? Always Open and 7-Eleven are basically synonymous, and it works for lots of different sports. But it was really fun to see Jamar really own it, and even today, watching, just this week, I was watching ESPN in the morning. And there was a reporter talking about it because Jamar is in the process of signing his contract. And they were still talking about him being just like 7-Eleven, which is just really fun. And it goes to show that the hard work that we've done in partnership with the brand really has cemented 7-Eleven as a cultural icon and brand.
Good. And that also means shows how you have to be paying attention to what's happening around the world, and these kind of sparkles come out of it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. And then we have another campaign, which is the Brady Ad Council Safe Stories, which is in another tone. Please tell us about how you came up with the idea for this campaign.
Yeah, so something completely different, a very sensitive topic, a very politicized topic right now, around the idea of, gun safety. There is a very strong link between unlocked guns and suicide. But unfortunately, there tends to be still a lot of silence and stigma around the idea of suicide, a lot of it perpetuated by the gun lobby. So, our way through this was we realized that the only way to really reach gun owners was to hear from gun owners, and not just hear about, the problem, but how can we as marketers turn it into an actionable solution. And that inspired us to turn this book of these stories into an actual gun safe itself, a working gun safe.
And how did you pick up those stories that are featured?
So through our partnership with the Brady Foundation, they helped us find people that had attempted suicide and actually survived. So we had really in-depth interviews with those people. And then through that process, we kind of landed on the folks that we ended up featuring.
And what were the biggest challenges? I must imagine it must have been not easy to talk to these people.
You kind of alluded to it at the beginning, just striking that right tone. Suicide is so delicate. It's a very emotional topic. It's also extremely polarized and politicized right now, the narrative around gun ownership. So trying to ride that line and try to strike the right chord, where we're not being exploitative, but we're also opening people's minds and their hearts to the reality that the difference having a gun safe and putting your gun in the safe can make. It was very important to us to find that balance.
And what was the impact or feedback that you had about the campaign when you spoke with people?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was tremendous. We have some great measurements that came out of it. Those who saw the campaign were 4 times more likely to seek out safe storage. One of the strongest things that I thought coming out of it was that 40% of people who saw the campaign actually spoke to friends and family about safe storage. And, we all know, like, you can run all the ads all day you want, but like that person-to-person discussion, if we can reach people on that level to where their friends and family are saying, hey, you should really think about this, like, wow, that is mission accomplished in my mind.
40% is a lot also.
Yeah.
Cool. So earlier this year, Dentsu Creative launched a new promise, which is transformative creativity, an approach designed to unlock exponential growth for clients by using creativity to positively impact people, business, and society. How do you see this principle coming to life in each of these campaigns?
I guess I can answer that. Give you guys a break. I think what's really interesting and differentiating about the way Dentsu Creative is set up is that there are no silos. We really take the client's problem or a business problem first and decide what the solution should be, agnostic of it should be these people who only do social or these people who only do TV ads or only brand work. We really try to solve it agnostic of the medium of the expertise, because we operate on one P&L, and because we have combined legacy brands into one unit, we're really able to pull the right people and almost cast the right people to solve the business problem at hand, which always leads to the most impactful creative work. So if you look at these, 3 different examples here, you'll see that it started with a very, real problem, or in the 7-Eleven case, something that we wanted to activate on very quickly in 48 hours, have an entire campaign out there. And every single one of them is representative of transformative creativity, whether it's the 40% in the Safe Stories example of people having that conversation, or whether it's ingraining itself in culture that 8 months later it's still being talked about on ESPN with 7-Eleven. Every single one of them had a transformative impact, and it was because of the creative idea. And that creative idea was only possible because of the way that we are set up as an agency and able to really staff it with the right people to push the work to where it needs to go.
And these 3 campaigns are all very different and have unique outputs. Can you talk about the process of coming up with these solutions and how Dentsu Creative's capabilities were uniquely positioned to do so?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of touched on that a little bit, but like I'll give it over to Bridget to talk about 7-Eleven, because trying to activate a whole campaign in culture, you have to be able to react that way. And like she said, it took a long time to get 7-Eleven a place where they could be that reactive. And I think this was a shining moment. But maybe Bridget, talk about how you brought the people together to get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there was just such excitement, right? Like, creatives are really activated by like something out in the world, and they get really jazzed and energized by it. And you're willing to just go all of the miles that you need to in order to make something happen in that moment, right? Because these types of moments are few and far between. And when they're manufactured, they never go well. When they're authentic, they always go well, right? And so everybody knew that this was the just really all needed to come together to make it happen. And like I mentioned, I think the client even activating their other external partners and internal parties too, right? Like in 48 hours, we had a bunch of stuff up on social. We had responded to what he had said, and we had a holder of a website ready. And then we very quickly were able to, the client was able to get merchandise that was branded up on their website. They were able to negotiate an NIL deal with him in a short amount of time and do a photo shoot before the next weekend's game, right? So everything really in this campaign happened first 48 hours, but then in the first week or the 7 days between games when he had referenced it, and then the next game happened. And I think that, the rallying together, but also the kind of work done to lead up to this, where everyone is super clear on like, what's the brand promise? Why do we exist as a brand? When stuff like this happens, how do we respond? the playbook was written and all of that hard work in place, the foundation laid for us to then be able to go and activate quickly. And the speed of our client partnership and their legal teams and their willingness to kind of just like do all of it is what really makes the magic happen.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
on the other side, you know, Intel, which is like kind of the complete opposite side, requires people who have a deep expertise and understanding of technology. And like Laura, you might want to talk a little bit about people on your team that really understand the ins and outs of some very complicated tech and how to humanize it.
Yeah, I feel like many members of our team have an honorary degree in engineering at this point, because you really, especially when you're talking to a business audience, you know, it's a combination business and technology audience. Like, you can't really bullshit your way through that. You have to know the ins and outs, and not just, you have to know it so well that you can then also find a way to talk about it in a way that's not going to bore people to tears. Like, how do you make it interesting? So, you know, I give our team kudos every day for finding new ways to talk about some of this stuff. You know, they love to nerd out on it, which is like, that's like the best.
And finally, what creative trends are you excited about heading into next year, and how do you hope to apply them?
I guess I'll start. I mean, I think my favorite trend coming out of this year is the return of some humor. Like, I do feel like we've had a couple of hard years as a globe, and it's just really
Earnestness.
nice to it's just really nice to see a return to some levity and some, you know, some humor back in the work. We just finished Dentsu Creative just finished a campaign for Totino's pizza rolls, the breakfast rolls, and it's so light and so ridiculous, but right for that audience, you know, a perfect sort of the perfect kind of levity for something as absurd as a pizza roll. But it was just so refreshing, because I think we've just had years and years of really heavy, you know, important purpose-driven work, but it's very heavy. And so just to see things, us to start to appreciate things a little bit on the lighter side as an industry is making me excited.
Love that. Yeah,
I think ever since we had the pandemic, all the talks that I've been doing, I think people are craving exactly for the same thing for the last years.
Yeah,
but it's good that we can see it coming back. That's great. It's gonna be good for all of us, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna jump in with RIP Brett Summer, long live Brett Summer. I think like there's been a lot of really big swings coming out of you know, the pop star world, and some of the politicians out there right now. Like, I think that they are really doing some very bold stuff and some really fun storytelling that's like taking place in different, you know, different pieces and parts. There's Easter eggs. It feels like this big cultural treasure hunt. You know, I think I'm excited to see, you know, brands start to take a hint from their playbook and start to do some work like that, or more work like that, and letting the audience connect the dots more, not having to give them every single little thing. So I think that stuff is really fun. Used to see everybody get excited.
Yeah, and building on that, Laura, I think like the idea of moving away from, which we've been in this for a while, but moving away from a monoculture in a lot of ways, and starting to see a lot of like more niche communities and fandoms that have trends that pop off that people start to see. So we are seeing trends come a little bit like in social spaces more quickly, and from smaller kind of fandoms or communities, and then expanding. And it's really fun. You know, obviously the last one was very Jameer, very mindful, like people taking that up and putting it everywhere, and not far after Brat Summer, right? Like there's all of these communities and fandoms coming together with these trends that is really fun to see, because it's not just every single person doing the same thing. It's coming from lots of different perspectives and lots of different communities and groups of people, which is really empowering.
Okay, well, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Congratulations again, and best of luck with all the future projects that you carry on with the agency.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.